What makes a Kumzitz successful is if everyone participates. If even one person is talking, even if you look and you think you're far from the center, you're not. Every voice matters.
This summer I had an incredible privilege to go on a summer program called Kumzitz. And so we started off in Poland, and it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it added so much meaning that I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I walked on the grounds where our nation and our people got destroyed and completely tormented, and things that I saw the scratches on the wall and their actual ashes, and it was really just so difficult, but it was really incredible. And just being able to walk out of Auschwitz and we're all screaming like Am Yisrael Chai, that our nation is still here and we're still one. It really just it's incredible, because after Paro tried to annihilate us, and after Hitler tried to completely wipe us out, and we're all still here and we're all one, and it really was an amazing feeling. And I felt that since Hashem did that for us and for our nation, I felt that it was kind of my responsibility to carry on the Jewish legacy. And
I'm Mrs. Isfit. Okay, hi. A few years ago I had the privilege of working in a camp called Camp Pass. Camp Pass is a camp for special needs children and adults. And it's not just a camp for kids that have learning disabilities or need special education. It's a camp for severely disabled children, mentally, physically disabled children. And I worked there for quite a few summers, and for my bunk that I had was a bunk of little boys. And they were the cutest. They were 5, 6-year-old kids, 4, 5, 6 years old, and I had 4 boys in my bunk. One of the boys, his name was Gabriel. And Gabriel we had a very special bond, and I'll explain to you why. Not only was Gabriel the director of the camp's son, the director of Camp Pass has a special needs son, and I had his son. He also happened to be my first cousin. Gabriel's mother and I are first cousins, and honestly, we grew up together. We are like siblings. I could not be closer to Gabriel and his family, and I was so fortunate to have him in my bunk. Now, as I said before, it's a camp for severely special needs. None of my campers could do anything for themselves by themselves, including feeding, bathing, walking, everything. We did it all for them. Now, Gabriel could not walk, he was wheelchair bound, and he had a special walker. And this walker went around him, and he was strapped into it. Not like a walker for elderly people where they hold onto it. He was entirely surrounded by this walker. And the walker probably supported him more than just leaning on it a little bit. And every single day, I would take Gabriel up and down the road of camp and to practice his walking. Every single day. He cried his way through. He hated it. Every single day, up and down the camp road. Now, as I said, it's a summer camp. And we went swimming every day too. Gabriel loved swimming. So every single day we would go into the pool and I would hold his hand, and water is very buoyant. You know how if you lift someone in water, they're lighter to you, right? So every day I would hold Gabriel's hands, and all he needed was me to hold his hands, and he was able to walk, which is much less support than the walker, which he's entirely confined to. And he would walk across the pool, back and forth, and hold his hands, back and forth, every single day. Now, finally, one day, we were noticing that he was getting stronger and more confident in his walking in the pool. And we left go. And Gabriel took his first steps of his entire life at 5 years old in that pool. The entire pool stopped what they were doing, turned to Gabriel and started cheering their lungs out for him. He walked across the pool, back and forth, and back and forth. And immediately I jumped out of the pool, I grabbed my phone, I started videoing it. And I'm videoing this kid's first step of his entire life by himself. And I quickly get dressed, and I run to his father's office. I barge in, I don't care who's in my way, I barge in through the door, and he said, "Oh, look at this!" And I stick the video in front of his face, And he's watching, and as he's watching, the tears are flowing down his face. Now, he is like a solid rock, this man. He does not cry for anything. He is bawling his eyes out in the middle of who knows what's going on. I'm showing him this video, and he's bawling his eyes out. Why? We were all crying. Why were we all crying? That Real took his first steps then.